Welcome. Brand new mimer. Parshas Teruma, page 158 in the Torah. I'll post a link. You could order your own copy. Mi tencha ka'achli. It's an expression of closeness between the Jewish people and Hashem. Who is going to give you to be like a brother to me? This is the request that the Yidden, the collective of the Jewish soul, has to Hashem. Alzman Golos. We're in the time of Golos, exile. We're not exactly in Yerushalayim in its full glory with the Beis Hamikdash and so on. And we're asking, when are we going to be like brothers to Hashem? Shebizman shebeis Hamikdash hayakayam, when there was a Beis Hamikdash, Nikra'u Yisrael Achim Lamakim. Nikra, the Yidden are called brothers to Hashem. The relationship between the Jewish people and Hashem are referred to as brothers. Obviously, Hashem is not a person and it's not a brother, but the closeness and the relationship and so on is referred to as brother. As David HaMelech says in Tehillim, for the sake of my brothers and my friends, for the sake of the home of Hashem, which means when there's a home of Hashem, which is a Beis Hamikdash, then we're called brothers. So the Yidden are requesting, when are we going to be like brothers to Hashem? When are we called brothers? When there's a Beis Hamikdash and everything that comes with it. And that's why he's asking now, who's going to give you like a brother to me? When are we going to be like brothers? Okay, so this is a very obviously strange concept. Yes, to call Hashem or the relationship like a brother is a nice thing, it's closeness, but what is it really implying? That's brother relationship and brother expression, and specifically for when the Yidden are during the times of the Beis Hamikdash and not when we're when times of Golos and so on. And what's the connection to our parsha? So he's going to explain that in the Beis Hamikdash, as we know, in the Mishkan we had the Aron, the Holy of Holies, in the Aron in the Holy of Holies, and over there were the Kruvim. And these two Kruvim, known as Krubs, were facing each other, and they're referred to as Ish el Achiv, man to his brother. So we already have the connection between Beis Hamikdash and brother going on. But in the Kruvim that were in the Beis Hamikdash, it says their face was man to his brother. It says, you should make two Kruvim. One Kruv on this side, one Kruv on that side. So the expression when talking about the Kruvim is man to his brother. Kruvim are also referred to as a face of a child. Sometimes we say it's a boy and a girl facing each other. At times it's a crossover between a child look and an angel, and so on. As the Chazal tell us in Gemara Chagiga, that the face of the Kruv is the face of a person, and this is large face, small face. The idea is that these Kruvim have expressions of being a person or face of a person. Now, to talk about godliness, revelations, holiness, and use faces is dangerous territory, because we know, of course, that the Eibishter is not a body, he's not a human, and you can't attribute a human form, or any form for that matter, to Hashem. Which leads us to the next question, or something which requires deep explanation. How is it that when it comes to the Merkava of Yechezkel had a vision, and he saw a chariot, and in the chariot there was, in addition to other things, a face of man. Obviously it wasn't Hashem, but what is it expressing? So the idea is, on the image of a chair, which was on the chariot that the prophet saw, there was a vision of, or an image of, a person, of a face. You have to understand what this means. Hashem does not have any body. How could you, Chas v'Shalom, say that he saw something? What does it mean that he saw the image of a person? Which will help us understand the idea of Kruvim, which are faces, which will help us understand this expression of man to his brother and our relationship to Hashem. So the idea is that Torah, in addition to be called Torah, has a reference to man. Torah is called man. You find at least 2 places in Chumash where it says Zeis HaTorah Adam. This is the Torah of man. Zeis Teras HaAdam, and it says this is Torah of the man. So again, you have Torah being referred to as man. Apiroshu, the explanation is the entire Torah is names of Hashem. Okay, if you want to know why Torah is referred to as man, we have to appreciate why Torah, as our sages tell us, Chazal tell us, is all names of Hashem. And in Zohar, the 10 Sfiros are called the secret of the holy name. What's the idea? That the Zohar tells us the 10 Sfiros are called the secrets of Hashem's name. And the whole Torah, we said, are names of Hashem. What's the idea of names? So it's an analogy to the name of a person. By a person, you'll see this inside soon, when you use the term Avram or Yaakov, right? It's not the essence of the person. It doesn't affect the essence of the person. My essence, the human being's essence, and who he really is his thinking, his mind, and his ideas. That's who his character. That's who he is. As far as the name, it's a reference to refer to me. In order that I should know that you're talking to me and not to someone else in the room, I give you this name that you could use. You know, name has a lot of depth to it, but besides the general explanation of what names are and the conduit of energy and so on and so forth, but just on its own, the name is a reference. It's not who I am. And if I wanted, I could use a different name and no one would know the difference. It's just about being able to refer to me. And the example he gives is when a person's alone, he doesn't need a name. Right? If someone else is involved, right? It's like your phone number. You need a phone number. If you want to call me, you need a number. But if I don't have a number, it's not going to change who I am. Maybe phones are different. Too extreme of an example. But name is a reference. Let's see inside. The name of a person who's called Avram or Yaakov. It does not affect his Mehusan Atzmus. Because the Atzmus of a person is his Seichel and his Midas. Which they are Shaykh to him, also when he's on its own. His own. However, when it comes to the person's name, he does not need it when he's on his own. It's only his external. Through the name, he turns to whoever it is that's calling him by his name. But that's all it is. It's an external thing to who I really am. Now we're answering why we're calling Yidden, why we're calling Torah by Hashem, it's all names of Hashem, and why the Eser Sfiros, the Zohar says, are the secrets of Hashem's name, because name is basically telling you this is not the real deal. This is an external factor, it's an expression, it's a reference to Hashem, but it's not him himself. Why is that so important? So, even Chachma Ilah, for sure, the supernal midos, they are not comparable at all to Hashem's Mehusan Atzmus. Because the Mehusan Atzmus of Eibishter is exalted and beyond the category of Chachma. These Havos, and the coming about of Asesfiris are called the secret of the holy name. He is only a shine itself. So basically what we're saying is you should know that Chochma Ilah, which is the first of the Esher Sfiros, is not the essence of Hashem. Imagine your name versus who you really are. That's what Chochma is. And Midas, which are even lower than that, is definitely not Hashem's essence. Hashem created the world using or via Esher Sfiros. It wasn't his essence. He's well beyond this world. We also say that Hashem used the Chachma. The revelation of this Ha'ara, which is the level of Shem Havaya, that's my name. And through Chachma, or in Seif, comes down in to all the 10 spheres. As the reason is explained in Tanya. So what are we saying here? That via the sphere of Chachma, the Eibishter comes down into all the other 9 spheres. We're explaining this like esoteric concept, that like this lofty idea, that when Hashem created the world, He's using a term or a level that's like our names. He uses that in Torah. He uses that in creation. He's beyond the world. It's going down many levels by Hashem's decision that are so removed from the real deal. It's still Hashem, of course, but it's an expression just like your name and you. And that's why Chachma in Sfiris is called Adam. What's the reference to Adam? The Nikra Adam Harishain, Ubezayah Nikra Adam Kadma. And Zayah Chachma is called the original man or first man. Kireishis Chachma Ksiv, because it says the beginning of Chachma. What's the idea? So he says like this: just like a person, when you have in your existence, your makeup in your body, the Chayas goes first to the head. In your brain, you have the energy and the life source and the conducting of the whole body. From there, it starts to flow down, or it's sent to each limb according to the type of energy that it needs. But it's stationed, the home base, the power place is in the brain, in the head, the mind. And from there it goes everywhere else. So it starts somewhere, then it goes further. Similarly, in the process of spheres trickling down into a world or evolving into a physical world, it also goes Chachma. The whole entire thing is placed in Chachma. And then from there it gets down into Bina Das, onto the Midas. So again, you have a person called Chachma because it's the same analogy. We work that way. Mashenken his labshusan b'midas nikraim iu v'gameichad. Okay, therefore, Torah, which comes from Chachma, is called Adam. Right? We asked, why is Torah called the names of Hashem? And now we're saying that Torah is Chachma for this very reason. That's what it means, that Torah connects or binds with the Eibishter, because it's going in a way of Chachma. Just like by a person, your Chachma is one with you. This level of Adam is called the Great Adam, and the big face. Despite it just being an expression or a lower level, it's still also just the face, just Chachma. And despite it being like a name, it's still Chachma. It's a higher level of Chachma, and it's a level of Chachma that nobody can fathom. So let's not minimize it, even though we're calling it Chachma, because it's pretty up there. Okay, before we get to the next perek, let's just briefly summarize. The request of the Yidden to the Eibishter that in times of Golus we're distant, we want to be referred to as brothers again. Brothers is a reference to the times of the Beis Hamikdash, the closest of Hashem to us. Why is it called brothers? We say that Kruvim, in the Beis Hamikdash you had Kruvim, in the Mishkan as well, Kruvim, which faced each other. They're also referred to as brothers. But there's also faces there. What's the idea of faces there? How can you say faces? So we say that by the Merkava there was an image of a face. What does that even mean? And why is Torah called man? And why is Torah all names of Hashem? And the answer is that the name of a person, as an example, is not your essence. It's an expression of something beyond you. Similarly, this is not who you are. This is out of you. The Eibishter's essence, who he is well beyond Torah, and it's well beyond. It's a Chachma within yourself. Now, Chachma is connected to Hashem. It's bound. It's Hashem's wisdom connected with Him. I don't want to say it's beyond Torah because we're connected with Torah, but Chachma is referred to as that. It's like names. This whole thing is referring to Torah the way it is above. In order to have Amshacha of Chachma Ilah that should enclose in the Torah of Bria, it has to be through Tzimtzum. You can't just take Chachma, the highest of levels, including the way it is in Torah, and just bring it down to the next world. It doesn't work. The next world is too low, I can't handle it. It's like you're putting too much coffee into this cup to drink some. This is what Chazal tell us, that Hashem contracted, so to speak, his Shechina between the poles of the Arein. What's the idea of contracting? Because you can't just place Shechina like that without any process beforehand. It doesn't work. Right? It's a lower level. Because since from there the voice speaks to Moshe, that level is called Kruv, small face, small person, just like a child. The revelation of Chachma is in a child much more condensed than it is in a human. Obviously, he still has Chachma, and yes, it does express itself and extend to the rest of the body, but it's still there. That's what it means, one kruv from this side, which is Amshacha from above to below. To be a source and a root to the Amshacha of the light in Biyah. And one kruv from this side is in order to be a Yerida, is through a Susa de Lasata by Kriyashma, that a person says is giving over his nefesh to the Eibishter in V'ahavta. In order to have, when you say you have one kruv on this side, one on this side, means that there's a span. There's a level here, and no kruv are sideways, but a level here, a level here. And the Yid is taking himself and bringing him to a level where he's completely devoted to Hashem. He's ready to give up his life for Hashem. You're bringing it down into your life. You're saying, I'll give it up for the Eibishter. How do you have that? Through his beinunus of Shema Yisrael. You're taking one extreme to the other. I'm now down here. You want to give me the realization or the appreciation or the conviction that I'm going to do what Hashem wants. I have to draw down something. Now, we know I have it in myself. I have to just reveal it, but I have to draw it down. How do I have a simple day, and it's not simple to Chasidus today, but on a regular day you're davening, and I should somehow feel that I'm ready to give up my life for Hashem. I love Hashem to the extent that even it's greater than my life itself. That's through his beinunus. Through his beinunus, meditation, contemplation, reflecting deeply, you could bring down this level. Da. It says here, it's obviously the case. Of course it's true. Okay, let's stop for davening. Thanks for joining.